Hey, welcome to The Explainer, where we love to break down big ideas. And today we are diving into a really popular one, James Clear's best-selling book, Atomic Habits. We're going to find out how tiny, almost invisible changes can lead to some seriously remarkable results. So let's start with a feeling I'm pretty sure we've all had. You know that feeling, right? You set these big, ambitious goals. You put in the work, you're trying your best, but the results, they just don't seem to show up. It feels like you're just spinning your wheels, and man, is it frustrating. Well, this is where the core idea of atomic habits really comes into play. And the perfect example of this is the story of British cycling. For almost 100 years, they were pretty mediocre. But then a new performance director came in with this philosophy he called the aggregation of marginal gains. Now, their secret wasn't some single massive change. Not at all. Instead, they focused on improving pretty much everything they did by just 1%. I mean, everything. They tested different massage gels, they taught riders the best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. They even painted the inside of the team truck white, just so they could spot tiny bits of dust on the bikes. Now, you might think, okay, 1%, that's a tiny improvement. But here's the thing. It doesn't just add up. It compounds. And this is mind-blowing. Over a year, that tiny daily effort doesn't just make you 365% better. No, it makes you nearly 37 times better. That is the incredible exponential power of compounding. All right, so if these small changes are so powerful, what's the deal? Why do we give up so often? We all know the cycle. You start a new habit, you're excited, you stick with it for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, and then, poof. You fall off. The problem, it turns out, really comes down to our expectations. We expect our progress to be this nice, neat, linear line going straight up. But in reality, the most powerful results of our habits are delayed. And that gap, that space between what we think should be happening and what's actually happening, that's what James Clear calls the valley of disappointment. And honestly, that's where most people just give up. So the real key here, the crucial point, is that mastery just requires patience. The work you're putting in, it's not being wasted, not at all. It's just being stored. All those early efforts are building up the pressure that you need for that eventual breakthrough. Okay, so how do we actually build habits that stick around? The book gives us 4 really practical laws. Let's start with the very first one. Make it obvious. You know, our brains are basically incredible prediction machines. There's a story in the book about a paramedic who, after years of experience, could just intuitively spot the super subtle facial patterns of someone about to have a heart attack. She couldn't even explain why she knew, she just knew. Our brains are constantly scanning for these cues, totally on autopilot. And here's the cool part. We can actually use this to our advantage just by designing our environment. For example, a hospital cafeteria. They didn't run a campaign telling people to drink more water. Nope, they just added water stations everywhere, making it the most visible choice. And the result? Soda sales dropped by over 11%, and water sales shot up by almost 26%. The lesson here is so incredibly simple. What you see is what you do. So if you want to practice guitar more often, don't leave it in its case tucked away in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. It's all about redesigning your space to make those good habits the most obvious, easy choice. Now, the book covers 4 laws, and they're all fantastic, but we're going to jump ahead to another really critical one, the third law. Make it easy. This one is all about reducing friction. Because let's face it, our brains are wired to conserve energy. We naturally drift towards the path of least resistance. And I love this experiment from the book. So you've got this photography professor who splits his class into 2 groups. One group is focused purely on volume. Take 100 photos, you get an A. The other group has to produce just one single perfect image. Now, which group do you think actually produced the best photographs? It was the quantity group, and it wasn't even close. While the quality group was busy theorizing about what makes a great photo, getting stuck on perfection, the other group was out there just taking hundreds of pictures, learning from their mistakes, experimenting, and actually getting better at their craft. They learned by doing. So the big takeaway here is to make your good habits as frictionless as possible. And maybe the best strategy for this is the 2-minute rule. Just scale your habit down into something you can do in 2 minutes or less. So read before bed becomes read 1 page. Go to the gym becomes put on your workout clothes. The whole goal is just to master the art of showing up. Okay, but here it is. This is, I think, the most powerful idea in the entire book. The goal isn't just about changing what you do, it's about changing who you believe you are. You see, true, lasting behavior change is identity change. You stop thinking, I want to be a writer, and you start seeing yourself as, I am a writer. The focus shifts completely from the outcome to the identity. Think about it like this. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. Reading one page isn't just reading a page, it's a vote for being a reader. Doing one push-up is a vote for being an athlete. These tiny habits are how you prove your desired identity to yourself. So as we finish up, the real question isn't about some huge, far-off ambition. It's about something much smaller and more immediate. It's this. What's one tiny, simple habit you could start today that would cast a vote for the person you want to become? That right there is the power of an atomic habit.